Okay, I know. I made an intro video 2 months ago, and then right after that intro video, I go on a hiatus, which began roughly between the releases of chapters 1152 and 1153. And at the time of this recording, the latest chapter is 1157. And before anyone calls me out on it, yes, I did spend the better part of those 2 months on Twitter, which I gotta say has become my go-to spot for One Piece engagement and interaction for about the better part of a year now. That's irrelevant. I'm not here to talk about that. The Loki flashback, which has been going on for roughly the past 2 months now, has changed a lot of how I view One Piece as a whole, particularly the world of pirates. Now, about a month ago, Mr.Morj put out a video suggesting that the Rocks Pirates is the reason why the Yonko exists. I'll make sure to leave a link to that in the description. But it got me thinking, what if the Rocks Pirates is also the reason why the 7 Warlords used to exist? Now, about 3 weeks ago, I started a podcast with my boy GeoAW. Newer One Piece fans probably don't know who he is, but if you've been a fan of One Piece long enough, you know who Geo is. And one of the things that we talked about was the influence that Rocks had on the world, particularly after he disappeared. Now, it is important to keep in mind that Rocks built his crew after winning a great number of Davy backfights. And with him already having an insane amount of strength all on his own, he practically was able to go from pirate ship to pirate ship, defeating and then stealing their strongest crew members, and then build himself a mega crew of his own. Now, when I first read this in the story, my first thought was, why doesn't this happen all the time? How come pirates will just go around and use their strength and take away the strongest crew members from other crews and build themselves big crews? Like, why does it not happen anymore? And then it hit me. It's because all the best pirates that are available end up becoming recruited by the Navy and world government to become warlords. And when you stop and think about it, it's almost like they're being paid to stay separated and not allied with each other. And in a way, that kind of made the Davy back fight irrelevant, because now all the best pirates that could have joined together into one crew are now captains of their own crew, leaving only the middle of the pack, the scrubs, the wannabe pirates, to really be the only ones that actually utilize the Davy back fight. And when you think about it from that perspective, it makes it make a lot more sense why the very first time we learned about the Davy back fight was through Foxy. It had practically been reduced down to a strategy that only works for scrub pirates. I believe the world government deliberately created the Warlord system to prevent any mega crews from assembling ever again. Now, admittedly, this idea only works for the Paradise side of the Grand Line, given that is the only part of the Grand Line where the Marines have jurisdiction, which leaves us with the Yonko, the 4 strongest pirates in the New World. The Yonko staying separate for the most part makes a lot of sense, given the fact that everyone that has been a Yonko outside of Luffy has been a crew member with another Yonko. But that isn't enough to rule out the possibility that 2 Yonko can or ever will be in allegiance with each other. And we actually see that in chapter 954, as despite having a quick little skirmish, Kaido and Big Mom decide to join forces with each other. And the mere idea of Kaido and Big Mom joining forces together was enough for the Marines to at least pay attention. The Marines are well aware that the problems that come with such an allegiance between 2 forces are too much for them to handle. Now, there isn't any indications in the story right now that can suggest that the remaining Yonko will be having an alliance, but if the Yonko did get together with the goal of taking down the Navy, it would be a big problem for the Marines, especially how in the New World they have no way to prevent it from happening. Or do they? The 7 Warlord system may have been used to prevent pirates from forming into mega crews, but it also gave the Marines an opportunity to form a mega crew of their own, except for the fact that all 7 pirates that do become warlords are not working with each other, but are forced to work under the same world government. Kind of sounds familiar. The Rocks pirates were exactly the same, with Rocks just accumulating a whole bunch of pirates that had nothing to do with each other and forcing them to work under him. And with the lack of cohesion and camaraderie within the pirates that are on the ship, I believe this is the strongest reason as to why the Rocks pirates eventually failed. And it's funny when you think about the Warlord system crumbled kind of the same way. Even though they were forced to work under the Navy and the world government, the 7 Warlords are still 7 individuals individual captains. And with all 7 of them having their own ulterior motives, with no real reason to really follow orders from the Navy, they showcase why the 7 Warlord system isn't a liability for the Navy. And with the Warlords gone, there is literally nothing to stop them from teaming up together and forming their own mega crew. In fact, we see Crocodile and Mihawk almost immediately join up with Buggy after this system got abolished. But with the Navy and the world government obviously having a weakness to dealing with mega crews, they had to do something. And this led to the creation of the SSG. You see, up until this point, the Navy figured they could control the pirate world by having their hand in the pirate world, in the form of the 7 Warlords. This system may have prevented mega crews from forming, but giving 7 powerful pirates the freedom to do whatever they want with no repercussions ultimately led to more harm than good. But with the Seraphim, that problem is non-existent. Not only are the Seraphim stronger than the original 7 Warlords, they actually do not have any ulterior motives. When an order is given, they follow. And with the greatest mega crew already being foreshadowed, the world government and the Navy need the Seraphim. They are essentially the Navy's mega crew. And I believe all of this stems from the influence of Rocks. Rocks is a character that I did not think I would like this much, but it's become clear to me that his influence goes much deeper than I originally thought, and probably goes even deeper. Let me know your thoughts. At the end of the day, this all could be a coincidence, and I'm just flat out wrong. But if you made it this far in the video, I want to say thank you. I'm not able to make videos as frequently as I want to, so any support I get is greatly appreciated. Feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Count me out.